All right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely early morning in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm coming with a message, and it's titled The Spirit versus the Bible. The Spirit versus the Bible. There is so much chaos, confusion, deception, deceiving that has taken place for quite some time, till it's pretty much nothing, not one on this earth can change the mindset of the individual, which is called human. You can't change them whether they're in Russia, China, Africa, German, Italy, United States. You cannot change the mindset. What is the mindset? The flesh of people. The way the flesh has been created is to have its own mind, its own feelings, its own emotions, its own personal opinion, its own wisdom, its own knowledge, and its own understanding. With this, you can't conquer changing humans' mindset in the flesh. But there's another, I would call it, entity outside the flesh. Not outside the flesh, but inside the flesh, that gives the flesh the ability to function. And because we have the spirit versus the flesh, we have to come into a some sort of we have to come into a beginning where it all started, where it all began. How did this get to be this get to be this? How did everything you see become? Was it because of the flesh? 99.9 men would say so. What happened to the one, or some people call God, some say Yah, some say the Most High, some say all these different other names from different belief. But let's say the Creator. Let's say that the Creator, let me bring that down, Deborah. Let me say that the Creator, whether you believe that there is a Creator or not, it's not important for me to teach this message based on your belief. Because if I teach this message based on your belief, then I would be teaching that flesh has won. And that flesh has created everything in which man behold today and can remember seeing yesterday. We can put that type of power, and we have put that type of power among flesh. We have taken the power of the Creator and has turned it over to the hands of the flesh of men. Now, when I speak of spirit versus flesh, it is a very powerful topic because, and the reason what makes it powerful to me is because what I'm about to speak on is going to separate the spirit from the flesh. And then it's going to bring the power of the Creator, which is a spirit, which is one that created all things. And I'm going to bring it back into one so you can see. No, Black it down. You ain't trying to get them to see, Deborah. Don't forget. Flesh versus spirit. Spirit versus flesh. Flesh has reject seeing that which a spiritual creator have created. So let me get that right. I want to slow myself down so I can say it the way the Spirit is living in me and speaking through me to say. Let me tell you why. Because this is not a topic that I came up with. This is not a topic that I'm pulling on up on this devil platform to teach the flesh of man. Because when I have lived to be 63 years old, and because I'm not going to say I've been battling with it. I have been in class learning this stuff since I was 4. And I tell people, ever since I've been on YouTube 5 years, I tell people, even yesterday, the day before, I learned something every day. And everyone who have subscribed to me and have heard me would say, she says that every day she learns something. When you stop learning is when you have reached the limit of your flesh ability to understand. Now, understand what I'm saying. Understand on the realm of flesh understanding. See, when you come to the knowledge of it being a creator, you're not going to live and die without being taught every day of your life something that you didn't know the day before. That's why I cannot jump on the bandwagon with 99.9 of people on this devil platform, because the bandwagon I've been on since 4 years old been one that has taught me from 4 years old all the way up until today, in which he got me on here now saying. Now, if you think that he got me speaking because of you, no. We're speaking spirit versus flesh. See, I've understood the reason why I can remember back at 4 years old. See, I was led by the Spirit to remember it all the way up until today, that it was something that kept teaching me different things. I was a person at a very young age, especially as my teenager year. I wasn't content with just reading this book. Oh, no. The one that I knew that was present with me was above this book. So I would get in this book and I said, but I got a question. A young woman, very young. I had questions on top of questions, on top of questions, on top of questions. Why? Because I was a student of he that hold all answers. And because he held all answers to all questions, I found my life always standing before him. But did. Why? Because I know, even as I knew then, I know today that he holds all answers to all questions. So here you are listening to the best way I can describe myself. I can say that I am a servant of the Most High Yah. I am a servant of the Creator. I have been predestined, ordained, and foreknown before heaven and earth was present. I was in his bosom and in his will to come and serve him on the earth. So if he predestined me before the flesh, why should I come down here and uplift the flesh and the ways of the flesh and forsake what the Spirit had created me first and foremost in the Spirit to serve him over the flesh? Many people today, 99.9, would never, ever come to any type of knowledge. It's because they battle in their flesh with the image that they have as a spirit within them. Why? It's the flesh is an entity that fights up against the part of you that knows how to make good decisions. I mean, let's say righteous decisions, just decisions, upright decisions. Does it make you perfect in this flesh? No, you can't ever reach that level. But you can be perfect in how you believe that another entity that is a spirit that rests in you, and it belongs to you. Once it was blown into you, then it became you. Why? Because the only way the Creator is willing to really deal with us, you guys, He's not stooping and bowing down and bending down and begging to come into our flesh. No, He knows the only place He's coming in you is that image that He gave you that's like unto Him, which is a spirit. He's not coming to your flesh to make your flesh the way He wants you to be. No, He's not doing that. He only deals with what He created, that place. He only attend the church that He built in you. Okay? He's not coming to a church that He's not invited. And you can't be invited by the flesh. It's by the Spirit. Do He make Himself known to you? Now, if I tell you that I've been in this situation since I was 4, then that should cut on a light for you to know that this lady must have some sort of light. Why? Because if I recognize that He was with me then, like He is with me, then that leads you to understand it wasn't a book that drew me to Him and Him to me. It wasn't the tradition of man that captured me to have this feeling for the unseen. If my mother was able to come here, she's way north, I'm way south, and say to you all, first thing she would say that my daughter been dealing with this since she was a little girl. See, while you all are thinking and giving Satan so much power and glory, and he has none, I have taught time after time after time, Satan only has the power in which you think it he has, and the power in which you give him of yourself. Outside of that, he has no authority, no power. When I saw that one, it was said that one angel came to muzzle his mouth, chain him up, put the seal on him. I'm like, wait a minute. Do they not read this since this is what they go by? They don't see that it took one angel to do that? But to do this to what they really believe Satan's so powerful that this is to one angel, they don't understand that. Because they live by flesh and not by spirit. The things of the spirit, you just can't see it when you want to see it. You can't understand it because you want to understand it. You can't feel that thing because you want to feel that thing. That spirit is assigned to individuals to do the work of the Creator on the earth. Now, this is the thing about it. What I saw and I behold was many things that was given that man may understand not only who Satan is, but who the Creator is. And when he gave the information enough to just have people understanding things that's hard to understand, then there was something along the line when the book was printed up, man began to tamper, smear, and get in it and have their way. So I believe that the spirit is a trillion infinity in power, understanding, wisdom, knowledge than any book that can ever be created on the earth. I can't compare the books See, these books don't justify, don't clarify, identify the creator that I've come to know since I was 4. So I say unto you that there's a war that's actually taking place. And I like what he says. When he says that if you really pay attention to the war, it's principality in high places. A lot of you all didn't understand his signature. See, he got this power in his right hand, okay, and his stretched out arm. But because we never knew him, we never knew what the power was consist of. We never knew. We made up our own creator. We gave him our own names. We gave him not only our own names, we went outside of the spiritual realm and created a natural realm that best suit us. When I know for a fact that everything was finished in the heavens, things are not completed on the earth. Heavens has already seen it to the point where he closed out and began to bring forth that which already was, that which is today, and that which shall be tomorrow. It was already in the heavens. Now, when I say the heavens, I call it the heavens just to get people to kind of understand that there is a spiritual realm and there is a flesh realm. 99.9 rest 100% toward the flesh realm when they try to take the spiritual realm like unto the flesh realm. The Father never wanted us, the Creator never wanted us to make him down as low as we are, because he was high when he created us. You see? So we didn't brought him so low. And when I say low, he's high, low, and on every side. Okay? He's everywhere. At every second, minute, hour, month, year, week. He's everywhere. That's just who he is. That's who he's going to be. And that's what he was. We can't get past this spiritual creator because we are too lost in ignorant mindset in the flesh. And we put so much authority and power and strength in how we do everything on the earth to where we have forsaken that which created us from the level of high to bring us low. And we make everything about the flesh, even though we're proclaiming the name, the commandments, the law, the Bible, the Torah, and all these other books in all type of religion. All of them is claiming him through everything that rests in the flesh, to where we have never gave it none whatsoever of thought that, wait a minute, y'all, this thing is spirit. No, we don't, because we only want to see it in the flesh. So that's why my title is The Spirit versus the Flesh. Can I tell you that was my title? No. When the Spirit gave me that, I said, can I handle that, Father? Can I handle it? He said, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I got your back. Like I got your front. You see, I said, I'm good. I'm good. You know? So I say unto you, the dealings of the Creator is not with your flesh. It's with your inner man, that which you cannot see and believe. That's what you trust in. That is what you look forward to, is what you cannot see, but yet you can believe. Because it is spirit. And because the Creator is a spirit, we feel because he's not reacting to the way we didn't cranked up all these different denominations, all these different beliefs, and all these different interpretation, and all this, what this book said, the lost book, the found book, a Muslim, Islam, all these Jehovah Witness, all these books all over the world, Buddha, all these books can't come near to the spiritual creator himself. None of it. And when I say that I'm a student of that spirit, I'm trying, and when I say I'm being taught from the wilderness, I'm trying to take you to the place in which he have taken me all my life. And I realize it's vain and vax, because he taught me that you're talking to a brick wall. And when he gave me that brick wall in the vision, I was looking at it as the situation I was in. And then I know it was like 3 or 4 months later, he gave me another vision. And I'm like, wait a minute. That was like the vision you gave me 3 or 4 months ago. He was showing me that I'm going to teach you how to stop running into the big brick wall. And running into the brick wall is when you think you can speak spiritual messages to a brick wall, which is flesh. Cannot be done. Cannot be done. You cannot. That's why I say I've been here 5 years, and by the spirit of the creator, he has taught me every step of the way. When I was ignorant in trying to understand it in the flesh, why is it these men can't take the key and open the door? And till the Father said to me, he didn't say this to me once. He said it to me several times. Deborah, why do you think that these men is going to open up the door if I didn't give them the key to the door? You know, because with me, I was wanting so bad for a people to enter into the door. Because if they could enter into the door, then I could feel that thing. I can feel that hope and that future with this type of people. I can look and see where they're going and how they're going to get there and when they're going to get there. But what I realized, these were things that I wanted while walking in the spirit and desiring in the flesh. So the spirit of the creator had to come to me and say, stand down. Why? Because you can't give them the key. The key had to have been given to them before the foundation of the world, like it was given unto thee. That's why I can go back to 4 years old. I can go back to 4 years old, and I don't justify and clarify that my mother and father gave me this wisdom, this knowledge, and this understanding. No pastor in no church, no school teacher, no books in the school, no Bible, no nothing gave me what I have outside of he that created me to be his servant, to step in the realm of his creation and represent him. Do he need me to represent him? No. But as you have read of the sower who sowed the seeds, in the spiritual realm, I stepped out of the spiritual realm in which I was taught the sower sowed the seeds, and I questioned what was going on in the flesh. I'm like saying, okay, listen to what I'm saying. I'm like saying to the Father, and this was like 24 years ago, why is this sower? So in this book, in this instructions and direction book, why is this sower sowing these seeds in all the wrong places? It didn't make sense to me. And I ride that horse until he can't even stand. That's how I am. Why? Because I'm a student of the spirit creator, not the student of the flesh and tradition of the flesh of man. That's the difference. So I'm like reading this, and I said, wait a minute. The sower sowed the seeds in three different locations. He sowed them in places that they're not and has no chance in the world to produce but die. So I'm like, why is this sower sowing these seeds in the wrong places? Come on back. Come on back. So I had to come back to the spirit realm. I said, let me tell you why I had to come back to the spirit realm. Because I was calling the sower, you got some issues. You got some problems. Because you ain't got no business being a sower if you don't know where to sow the seeds. Yeah, I was so deep into it. That's why I don't use this book to justify and clarify and identify who this spiritual creator is. Why? Because I know he's way above the words in this book, because he is the word. So when he came to me not, he showed me the words. I read the words, but the words weren't matching up. And it caused me to get not angry, fierce. Because as I read the words of the sower sowing the seeds, I began to think, hey, the sower got some issues. The sower got a problem. Because if he's a sower, he ain't got no business sowing the seeds in the wrong places. Pull up. Here comes the spirit. Say what? I had to come down. He said, now you see the seeds were sown in all these wrong places. It wasn't the place that it was sown. It was the seed itself. And I'm still in it. Wait. Why would the sower, he's over the seeds. Why is he sowing the seeds? Period. He said it wasn't the place in which the seed landed. It was the seed itself. So what did he had to do? He had to bring my whole thought pattern back into the spirit realm, so I can understand what is actually taking place with what is said in the words. So what did he have to do? He has to bring me back to what? His bosom. Come on, to the wilderness. So when he took me there, he explained to me deeper than you can even imagine what you can read. He said, Deborah, did not I teach you what took place before heaven and earth was created? I said, yeah, you taught me all of that. When I was young, let me explain something. When you're looking at the sower, you're looking at somebody who has the power and the control over the seed. So when you think that the sower is sowing the seeds in all the wrong places, you don't understand it. It's not the place in which it was sown. It was the seed itself. The power of the sower was that he was over the seed and where the seed is planted. So you got to go back to the sower. Now, do you understand who the sower is? I said, who that is? That's some man. I don't know the parable. I don't know what he doing. He can't sow. He said, but Deborah, I am the sower. I sow the seed. And did you notice that I sowed some seeds in some soil so they can produce? And I'm like, right then I knew I had to step all the way down. You mean you is the sower? I am the sower who sowed the seeds. I knew I sowed the seeds, Deborah. Remember what took place before the foundation of the world? I had the book of life here, and I had the books of the dead. I sowed the seeds in the books of the dead. And the seed that went into the soil was the seed that was sown in the book of life. And I had to go even more down. So you mean to tell me, Father, You are the sower. I am the sower. The seeds is greater than what the instructions and directions are teaching, which is the word. It is giving you the insight of the seeds represent the word, represents the word. So when I'm looking in this instructions and direction book, I'm like saying, but it's saying that these seeds were the word. He said, who is the seed? Who is the word? Oh, that's you, Father Yah. Didn't I tell you I was the sower? See, what they did is they took and rewrote it in the intelligence of their flesh to bring people into a captivity in their thoughts, their minds, their hearts, and in their spirits, in which he that created all things suffered them to do so. But when the Spirit is a teacher, from the Spirit of who you are, he comes to teach you all things. So even though he clammed on top of the fact that it is in here as the word, the seed represent the word, he's just letting me know, you know who the word is. You know I am the word. But I'm showing you from the level of where I teach you, from the wilderness. I am the sower. So it ain't that I put the seeds in all the wrong places. It ain't got nothing to do with the places in which I put them. It's the seeds in which I knew what seed I was sowing. We're talking about spirit versus the Bible. When the Spirit teaches, everything in this Bible, in every found book, lost book, precept, Torah, New Testament, Old Testament, has to stand out. Whether they know it or not, it's going to. This is the reason why he said every knee shall bow. He's trying to let you know, you got your tails down there on that earth. But when I step on the scene with my power, your books ain't going to be worth a dime. Yes, he's speaking of your King James version, your Torah, your Jehovah Witness, your Buddha book, all these different denominations and all these different religions. Wait a minute, hold up, Father, hold up. You mean to tell me everybody is going to bow down come the day they recognize that it wasn't about their book? It wasn't about their denomination. It wasn't about the name they thought was your name. It wasn't about nothing that has to do with that. He said, Deborah, you can see that when I come from mine in the order in which I'm coming, I never did say I'm coming for he that has my name. He that knows Torah. You know, he that understand Greek. He that is this and he that is that. He said the truth of the matter, I'm coming for a spiritual people inside of a people. They are mine from a spiritual kingdom. See? Everything that people are teaching you all has to do with the flesh. They're teaching you how to live out the flesh as if the flesh has life. Flesh don't have life. It just lives. It looks forward to one place, and that is the earth, the ground. It's not looking to enter into the kingdom. It's looking to go back to the dirt as from where it come from. That's your flesh. But there's an entity that's in every man, woman, and boy and girl that's not cloned. There's an entity that lives in eternal. It's only two eternal locations. Whether you believe or not, in the spirit, I know that it is. It's no way the things are going to be like it is on the earth. And it's going to be no different in the kingdom where the Creator rests. In the Creator bosom is a plan. In the Creator bosom is a mission. In the Creator bosom wraps up his will. For us to say that there's nothing in the Creator's plan from the beginning to the end outside of the way we want to live and claim that living is our life. When you get to the spirit versus the flesh, the spirit was, is, and shall always be. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but the spiritual Creator shall exist throughout infinity. This same spirit is what has been denied since the earth reside. Since we reside here on the earth, that's the only thing, the number one thing, and the only thing, I ain't gonna say thing, power, individual that has been denied since the beginning was the spiritual Creator. So yes, there is a battle between spirit and flesh. As my son told me when he was he was like 13, he said, Mama, so are you saying that the flesh, Satan, the flesh is winning? I said, as it seemed, the flesh is winning. Why would I say that to him? Because the way that I was taught is to put spirit first. And it's the spirit, watch this here, if the spirit of the Creator in the heavens has suffered the flesh to get victory, I got to salute that thing. I got to salute what? The will of the Creator, not the will of man's thought, man's emotions, man's feelings, man interpretation, man traditions, man religion, man belief, man understanding, man wisdom, and his knowledge. No, but the will of the Creator is being done. Someone says, well, there's really no God. How did you come to that conclusion? Want me to tell y'all why atheists don't believe that there is a higher being, a higher Creator? And I don't think so much as they don't believe it. It's just they didn't heard so much trash, so much wicked and evil. They didn't see nothing because their thought pattern goes beyond yours. They can't figure this thing out. And because they can't figure it out, they'd rather not believe in anything. Oh, no, it's no Creator, ain't no nothing. But see, what I learned is, Deborah, look out there. Everything you see, do you think it's just popped up? The visible, everything that's visible is what you see. Somebody had to start that thing up and start that thing out. I know it. You don't want to believe that there is a Creator. So the atheist is, they have every right not to believe, because what has happened amongst the Christians, the Hebrew Israelites, amongst the Buddha, the Jehovah's Witness, the Islam, Muhammad, all of them, we didn't give anybody anything worth believing in outside of what our flesh has cranked up. But what our flesh did, we went against the Spirit Creator. And we cranked up all this stuff to the point where we look at somebody and say, well, you don't believe, you Christians, y'all believe in this, and you doing this, you doing it. This is why people don't believe. This is why the atheists, then when they see Buddha over here, they see Muslim over here, Muhammad, Islam over here, they see Christians over here, they see Catholic over here, they see all this chaos that has to do with one Creator. No, I just don't believe in the Creator. Because all this on the earth, I'd rather believe in all this trash than to believe that a Creator is actually over all this trash. We did that as flesh and blood. That flesh is a monster in a monster. And until we are able to identify our own flesh before we able to discern another's flesh, we need to stand our nasty tails down. That's how deep it is. So when you get to these atheists and they come up with parents that don't believe and they don't believe, they don't share anything. They don't believe anything. Did they come here like that? Yes, they did. Many of them come down in the creation of their ancestors already like this because they weren't introduced to nothing but what the flesh introduced. So the atheist is only introduced to what the flesh of their ancestors and then their ancestors in their lives have been introduced to. A bunch of trash. Flesh has how would I say it, has shown the creator of it that it is nothing. Because we don't recognize the spirit of the creator. We only recognize what we can see with these eyes in the flesh and believe. What we can hear out of these ears in the flesh. We only believe based on that. What we can read with the eyes in which we can see that we're reading. And when we can hear some man teaching, we can believe it that way. But this here spirit of who the creator is greater than a voice out of a loudmouth man. It's greater than even everything you see. He's even greater than that. Because all the things in which you see, tell me who can zip that out. They believe that, but they really don't. Because they have rejected, just as the atheists have done all these years, rejected the spirit of the creator. So just because you're far behind the flesh doesn't mean that you are in tune with he that is of the spirit. You are no different than the atheists because you believe in the things in which your flesh can accept and embrace and see and believe and hear out of your natural ears and believe and read and believe and what you're told versus the unseen power that created all things. We give him no glory, give him no honor. We only give him what somebody say. Oh, you're supposed to pray this way, do this, say this, say this, say this. And we begin to become a broken rocker. And then we pass that on down the line. When as we passing things on down the line through the flesh, the spirit standing up here saying, why is the spirit saying that? The spirit of the Father knows that everything that is and was and shall be is still in his power. It already set up in his will. So he's standing back just laughing at it because he's seen it. He's been there. He already done that. He know the outcome. He know the beginning and the end of it. He has no problem with atheists. He has no problem with people worshiping their flesh because that's what you're doing on the earth. When you never understood the spirit of he that holds all power, that is the creator. Yes, there's a battle. Spirit versus flesh. 99% are going for the flesh because they can see the flesh. They can hear the flesh. They can understand the flesh through their fleshly eyes, their fleshly ears, what they read, what they teach, what they say. But when the ruach of the spirit of the creator is on the scene, it's no way you're going to drop what you know to go into the light of understanding the creator himself. It's no way. You've been too long in the darkness. You have made darkness your home, your resting place. I'm not going to follow the creator, which is spirit. I'm going to follow Adam, which is flesh. And that's what they did. And that's why you see today the way Adam easily came on the scene and served the flesh over the spirit. Well, what do you mean? This is where he wants me to bring in this lesson. Let's go there. First and foremost, I want you all to understand, he wants me to get you all to a level in this message of understanding where this message is coming from. Worshiping the spirit versus the flesh. 99.9 is hanging strictly on the hanger of the flesh. And they want so bad to deceive the mass to believe that they're on the hanger of the spirit. But as a prophetess in the wilderness, a student of the Most High Creator, I can't give you that, y'all. I got to tell it like he gave it to me. I got to speak it while he's in me, and he's fierce at this time. So I'm going to go on and step into it. Now, the topic of this message is spirit versus the Bible, okay? Spirit versus the Bible. It's going to take you into two situations. I'm speaking of the spirit versus the Bible, okay? Now, I want you to understand that the Father already have said in the instructions and direction, he has allowed, just as he had, let me show you, explain to y'all about the Bible. You see how he have allowed the technology to develop. Do you see how he has allowed cloning and all these things to actually take place? If you can't look out into the world and see all the things that's taking place and how they got to where they're at, if you think they got to where they're at, it's because they're outsmarting the creator himself. No, they can't get to any level without checking in with the creator who created all things. He has to give them the ability to be able to create and come forth with what they are coming forth with. Why? Because he has a will locked in. See, his will is locked in and it's locked out. What do that mean? The way he orchestrated the beginning, what is it? That which was, that which is, and that which shall come. He locked it all up in what you call a spiritual will. So, according for his spiritual will to come forth, it's a plan from his bosom. According for it to come forth, he has to use both spirit and flesh. Okay. So a lot of times when you hear men say that women was created for men and not for women, all that is a lie. He was needing man and woman to be one to bring in the seeds. Okay. He wasn't saying I created woman for man. That's another man-made added into manipulating and controlling the mass. And he did an excellent job. I will say that. A lot of things I would tell you from this King James Bible, I would say it the way that they orchestrate, took things out when they said woman, sin, and all of that, the way that they put in Revelation the harlot and the mother of harlot riding on the beast, her, woman, she, and all that in Revelation 18. 17. I'm like, wait a minute, where are they getting all this stuff as a female entity? Something went wrong somewhere, and we're going to go there because this is a part of the spirit versus the Bible. I want you all to understand that the first and foremost, when you go into the creation, just as he said in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 27, 28, he was so into, and let me not say he, it was so revealed, okay, as them, he and her. He gave the dominion of his creation to him and her. He says, ask the question, what happened to that order? That order has not been held up since Genesis, from the beginning. That shows you how far away from the spiritual creator that we have stepped away from to walk in the way of flesh. We're speaking of this Bible now. Now, he wants me to let you know that when he speaketh, even the devil tremble, which is a spirit, because his words is power. Power is his words. When he come on the scene, everything up got to go down. Why? Because the word has spoken. That is the creator. So when you open up this King James Bible, you hear this word speaking, and the power of he that is the word bring forth what the word speak, the power bring forth. He wants you to lock in Genesis chapter 1. The way that the word came to bring forth all things that's on the earth, it was brought forth with him and her, them. That was an area in which the flesh of man could not erase. Why? Because the creation, he that created all things knows his will. My will is what was, Deborah. When was it, Deborah? It was in heaven. When is it, Deborah? When we on earth. When shall it be? The end. So what he is saying is that the flesh of man has gotten so far away from what is spirit and truth, which is what took place before all this was in the midst. So when he go to Genesis chapter 1, he began to show you how he spoke with the power of his word, and the power of his right hand brought everything forth for creation. And in Genesis chapter 1, he says 26, 27, 28, he and her, them, are to do what? Work this earth. After then, he said, man brought in, when man came in, you got to understand, let's go there. In the book of Genesis, when the Father brought Adam into the dust, from the dust, right? You notice, let's go. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth, the water, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Right then, the power of the Father's creator of human was birthed. And even in that short space, man then went in and reversed it. Why? So you will never know and ever know about what this topic is about. The spirit versus the Bible. We have believed the Bible over a spirit creator. Therefore, we have no belief in his will, in his way, and in his doing. So this leaves with me as a prophet some understanding of how and why and the way that everything got away so quickly, so easy, so delicate. I know the world wants to think that it was an entity of an angel that came down, was kicked out of heaven, and he has deceived the whole world. But see, that was his mission that was given to him, to deceive the whole world. Who would want something to come down to deceive that which you created? Why would you want this entity of an angel to come down to deceive the whole world? What was going on with that? It takes you back to Genesis chapter 2. When he created man from the dust and he formed him, Adam never did get up. Why? Because that's flesh. That's what you call flesh, you guys. That's what you call flesh. The Bible, as the words in the Bible and in all lost books and found books and any book. And right now you see a lot of melanated men turn into all the heathens and Gentile books. That's a spirit, you guys, because they still chasing their tails. You know how a dog chases tail? That's what a lot of men in the melanated belief are doing. They're chasing their tails around. Why? Why are they chasing their own tail? Because they're trying to get their own understanding, their own belief, their own wisdom, and their own knowledge out of their own self opinion. Their feeling is caught up in it. Their emotions is caught up in it. They're dedicated to deceive than to believe that there is a spiritual creator that has created the beginning to the end. But no, we're not going to settle for what he created. We're going to go the same route as the heathen, the Gentiles, and everybody that's going on the left. We're going to go that route. Because that's the only route we can deceive the mass. That's the only route we can turn every human being away from the spiritual creator. And they have done an excellent job. The excellent job, when I say that, it might sound not right, but you know what makes it right? It's still following the will of the Father. That's what makes it so excellent. Okay? It still follow the will of the Creator, which taught me from the wilderness. I'm still seeing his will being done according to the way it was orchestrated before the foundation of the world. So as Adam being formed here, we as flesh didn't sit down and tarry for he that holds spirit, power, and word to teach us. We wanted the flesh of man. The flesh of man comes from one place, and that is books. They cannot teach you out of the spirit realm. They cannot teach you about the spiritual creator. Not out of a book, they can't. They can't teach you from that level because the spiritual creator is coming from a spiritual realm. He's not coming from the mouth of a loudmouth man, the tradition of men, the ways of men, because men go after the outer man. The spirit of God is from the inner man. That's why when he created and formed flesh of Adam, he separated, let's go in here, Genesis chapter 2. It's from the spiritual power. Watch how he separates the flesh from the spirit. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed a man of the dust of the ground and breathed it into his nostrils and breathed the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Where soul come from? That's how man has went in. He wasn't able to touch the creation, but he was able, and who gave him that ability to do that? So that it can live even to today. Because the Father is saying, look, I got mine and I gave him his. So when it going back to those, the sower who sowed the seeds, he sowed more seeds were dedicated to death than it was one seed created to life. What are you saying, Deborah? He that was born of the seed of the soil was he that is of life, spirit. He is born of the spirit. He that is born, the seeds of that was planted in places that it would die, it's the destiny of death. The seed that is planted, that is living, that's in the soil, it is of life. That's why it's bringing forth its life. Okay. So that right there shows you also the two difference in between the spirit versus the flesh. The flesh to me is also riding into the Bible. The reason why is because we did not tarry for the spirit of the creator to come in us and teach us. Instead, we waited for the flesh of man, an idol God, to be our teacher, our leader, our ruler, and everything. So the Father says, okay, it matches the way I willed it. Identical. Go back to the sower who sowed the seeds. You got the majority of the people going in the broad gate. And the seed that was sowed in the soil, it's going through the narrow gate. That's the way to life. So see, a lot of you all don't understand how the spiritual of the Creator has orchestrated everything into two realms. You either the seed of eternal life or you the seed of eternal death. You see? So here come Adam. He's being created. Everything that the Creator gave to this creation through his power. This is his right hand orchestrating Adam. Then he decided to give him an image. How did he give man an image? Based on the way he created man in the mist and in the dust of the ground and the way he formed man? No. Forming man was just letting you know flesh was formed this way from the ground. But where the spirit come in is where they missed. Why? Because they saw soul there and not spirit. You see? This is how things were already embedded to manipulate and deceive the mass. And it did an excellent job according to the will of the Father. I must say that it is the will of the Creator, the Father. And I like that because when it's going according to his will, I got to give him the glory. He's the only one get the honor. Okay? Even when you see Satan doing things, you know what? I still give y'all the glory. Because I have understood the power of he that holds all power, who has orchestrated it from the beginning to the end. And it really makes me wonder, what would have made the Creator choose me to teach me as a little girl that something took place before the foundation of the world? I would have to be something special because here it is, I'm 63. And what happens? I can still remember what I was taught then, and it all matches even to today. It's a reason for him teaching me what took place before the foundation of the world. Why? Because it wanted me to understand, Deborah, you're going to live by the Spirit. They're going to live by the Bible, which is the words. You're going to live by the word, and they're going to live by the words. That's the difference. We either going to go understand, if we have not understood it by the Spirit and we have understood it by the Bible, then you are of the flesh. You are of the flesh. Because this is, see, he that is of the Spirit comes out in life that we are living right now, in this living. And in life, that means that breath of life, we're living. We come out talking about the things of the Creator. And we leave it there. We ain't out to get glory for ourselves. We ain't out to try to get a check on this devil platform to lie to you. We ain't out here trying to lead the mass through the broad gate. We're out here trying to tell the people, no, there's only one way. And that's the narrow gate. Oh, but I forgot to tell you, very few shall find their end. But it's the only way to what? Life. You can't go through the broad gate thinking that you're going to life, which is the book of life, going through the broad gate. Who is allowing the mass to go through the broad gate? The same one who's giving them an example of the sower sowing the seed. What the Father has shared with me is there's so many spiritual messages that can be found in a smeared book. That's why I tell y'all, don't forsake this here. Because when the roar of the Most High Yah come and really be your teacher, see, only when he's really your teacher is when you realize that man cannot teach you. Flesh cannot lead you. Churches cannot guide you. And you realize, hey, wait a minute, hold up, y'all, this thing is spiritual. Then you know you in there. See, but if you cannot understand that spirit is Trinity beyond a Bible, how can the Bible override spirit when spirit is what gave its thunder. What you mean this thunder, Deborah? Because in this King James Bible is the finger of Yah. He used his finger to write. So when he's teaching me in the spirit, he'll show me example that he has allowed the flesh to print. Just as he said in Proverbs 16 and verse 4, I created evil, yeah, for the days of evil. Who would say that outside of he that created all things? He that is spirit is he that says, Jacob said, sons, gather yourself together so I may tell you what is befall in the last days. This is Jacob calling his son to his bedside. He's getting ready to die. Then all of a sudden you hear what? The finger of Yah come in the spirit realm. Gather yourself together, you sons of Jacob, and hear your father, Israel. Only one could have pulled up with that type of power is the Most High Yah. But because you are taught by the flesh of man, you ain't going to see the things that are spirit out of this book. He's not going to suffer you to see it because you sold out to everything in here. And he did not tell you to. He gave them an example to put here, rightly divided. Wait a minute, hold up, Father. Y'all, you telling me something in this book needs to be divided? He said, all of it needs to be divided, Deborah. Because you're going to have to be able to separate my finger from what man has smeared and lied about. But they can't, Father, if they don't have you. No, they can't. So they just lie. Everything in here is truth. And it is not. This cannot be the word and I'm the word too. Because in what sense does it make if you got a book to give you the word, then what's the use of me coming to give you my word? But that's what has happened. We turned away from the spiritual guide of all things that created all things to a fleshly man book that we think is leading us to all things. So I am so grateful to understand even today. This is what I'm understanding is, so Father, that's why you taught me at a young age. Before I even know how to read, before I took on a book, before I entered anybody's church, I knew who you were. I glorified him in the basement. I talked to him as a young child. You see? Why? Because so this world and the way they have deceived the servants of the Most High Yah, that they're not going to be able to deceive the elects for this day and time. You call these elects, these prophets, these prophetess, these teachers, these pastors, these warriors, you can call them whatever you want to call them. But I come to tell you, ain't none of them worth a dime if they have not been up and under the spiritual creator. All they have to do is say it, and you believe it. All they have to do is think it, and they believe that they are. But that's why he always speaks in a language that we understand. Those that cannot be fooled, he speaks in the language. Why do I tell you the devil to try the spirit by the spirit? Is the spirit the flesh? No. So why am I telling you to try the spirit? Because you know what the spirit is. They don't. Why am I telling you the fruit of the spirit? Not the fruit of their flesh. Nobody can't build nothing and that's the fruit. Nobody can't have 1 million members in their church and that's the fruit. Nobody can't make the things of the flesh the fruit of the spirit. Deborah, see, this is how he teaches me how to rightly separate who he is versus who the Bible say that he is. When you're able to separate him is when he separated you. He didn't separate you today, yesterday, a month ago, a year ago. He separated you before you was even in your mother's womb. He predestined you. He ordained you. He put you in the Lamb book of life. So all this clowning down here, that's why I try to tell y'all, all this that they doing down here is what you call clowning. People so dedicated on people's hair, people's makeup, people earrings, people fringes, the way you dress. Baby, don't you know It's what's in us that's greater, not what's on the outside that makes us great. It's what's in us is greater than he that's in the world. The flesh is of the world. So he that is greater is coming to abide you, to separate you the way he has separated you from the heaven. It ain't your choice. Heaven's already got it wrote in and wrote out. The books is sealed. You think the Son of Man can come up in them books? No, he can't. Only the power that the Father will give the Son of Man that sits on the right hand can open them books. Outside of that, y'all lost without a cause and with a cause, because y'all been led to believe the ways of the flesh of man and their understanding, their wisdom and their knowledge, their personal opinion, their feelings got caught up in it, and their emotions. And this is what you get today. And then that's why you get all these lost books. That's why you get people beating you with Torah. People beating you with the diets and how to dress and how to talk and how to walk and how to look and how to represent. They can't tell you how to represent the Most High Yah in the flesh. You got to know how to represent him in the spirit. And if you have no idea, you are lost with a cause and without one, 100. And that's why I speak to you all, spirit versus the Bible. I come and I say unto you that it is infinity for the Bible to override he that created all things. He didn't say a book will come and teach you. He said, I shall come in you and abide. Oh, they don't care about that. Well, this is the fingerprint I tell y'all that's in this book. There's things in this book that man did not create. There's things in this book that's written by the spiritual finger of the will of the Father. But you ain't gonna know what it is because man didn't screw your mind up. Like they told women were created for men and not men for women. Then all of a sudden, y'all ain't come to understand. Pull up, spirit. Pull up, spirit. Spirit say, well, let me tell y'all. When did I create flesh? To please the spirit. Why would I create flesh to have, watch this here, a person to be submissive under the flesh? Why would I create a woman to be submissive under a man? Flesh, submissive under the flesh. He said he ain't got nothing to do with that. Y'all use that trait because it was put in here to deceive the mass. Did an excellent job. Why would I call minds, which is spirit, to come down and submit their flesh under the flesh of another human being? No, Deborah, they missed it. And that's what they got away with. They used this Bible to tame the flesh of men and women. That's what they used. And they did a good job. But when I say an excellent and good job, they didn't do a good job as oh, really? They did a good job because it's following the will of the Father. You see? See, he have a permissive will and he have an unpermissive, one that is not permissive. He's letting it all work according to the beginning to the end of everything he has created, started, and in. It ain't like we rolling up, bringing new revelation to nothing. You ain't bringing new revelation until you brought the people to the spirit of who the creator is. You ain't bringing no new word until you bring the people to the understanding of the spiritual creator and who he is. What do you mean, Deborah, to the spiritual creator of who he is, the understanding? Because see, you didn't know. There's two understandings, one in your flesh and one in the spirit. There's two knowledge, one in your flesh and one in the spirit. Two understanding, two wisdom, one in your flesh and one in your spirit. 99.9, you serve the one in your flesh. You have never understood your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in the spirit. Because only the spirit of Yah that abide in you teaches you the difference. And that's why in Genesis chapter 2 and 3, when he pulled up with Adam, after he created him, he blew something in him. You will never hear them preach and teach you that. Never ever in your life will you be preached or taught or that something was blown in you, because they don't want you to know. See, the breathing, the breath of life comes with a spirit, which is his image. Let us make man in our image. Where did the image come in? When you get to Genesis 2, he showed you the dirt in which he formed the flesh. Well, how did your image get in us, Father? The mouth of loudmouth men and women teaches you. That's your outer man, is the image of God. The men teaches you. The men look and who they are as a male is the image of Yah. When Yah look high and look low and on every side, he don't see race, color. He don't see big, small. He don't see old. He don't see young. You know what? Matter of fact, he don't see male and female. He see them. And just because they have learned how to take it out of the realm of the Creator himself, which is spirit, I sit back and I say, so you really did rest, didn't you? I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, I have that type of humor. I said, Father, you really did rest, didn't you? You really did rest. You rest for so long till you let everything go according to the way you already knew it. And you stood back and you rest. Yes, he did. He stood back and let it all go. He rest. See, y'all thought it was rest for your flesh. His rest is spirit. He's a spirit. What do he need rest for? See, you missed it. You never thought. Wait a minute. When he said he rests on the seventh, what? He was letting you know, but you missed it. You gave the rest to your spirit and didn't pay close attention that he is a spirit. Why do he need rest? Because he was sending a sign to me what that rest is. So that's why when I say unto you, and I shall rest therein, that's what I mean. I'm going to rest in spirit and truth, not in the lies in which was taught. Now, we're going back to spirit versus Bible. Now, like I say, in Genesis chapter 2, you see where the breath of life brought in an image, only an image, meaning a look-alike, which is a spirit. The Creator himself is a spirit. So he gave every human being when they get the breath of life, he blew in a spirit. And now they become living in the flesh with the life and the spirit. Soul was put in there so you will never understand what I'm teaching you today. The difference between spirit and the Bible really is also the difference between spirit and the difference between flesh. The Bible is coming to give information to the flesh. But the Ruach, which is the spirit of the Most High Yah that comes and abide in the spirit that he gave you an image like unto him, he's coming to abide there to teach you the difference. This is why I know that there's no such thing as an awakening in the flesh. You can't awaken in the flesh. You're too ignorant in the flesh to awaken. You're too slothful, too lazy. You too stiff-necked, rebellion and disobedient. You're too rich, you're too famous, anything. You're too full of wicked and evil and abomination to awaken in anything in the flesh. The flesh is dead, y'all, already. And it knows it's dead. You just don't. So what happens? When you live out the dead flesh, according to the way you're being taught from this book, which is the Bible, you're living out your flesh. And then you're going to stand before he that is the Creator. You're going to stand before him as the way of your flesh lived on the earth. That's why man cannot tame you of what day to serve and worship. They cannot tame you of what to eat, how to dress, how to walk, how to talk. Because what is it a baby coming into life 10 months old? What did she do to make her daddy rape her? 10-year-old. Yes, she died. But I'm just showing you how all this mess You see these women tying their heads. You see these women in these foreign countries wrapping themselves up. Y'all look like fools. You look like fools. Because ain't nothing on your outer side going to enter into the kingdom. And if you role playing on the outer, then you ain't never understood the spirit. You can't understand the spirit when you so busy trying to deck the outer man, trying to train the traditions of man on the outer man to where you can't train them from the inside, which is waiting for the spirit. And it's not coming. That's why he says it's over, Deborah. I ain't coming down there. Everywhere, but I ain't coming down there. And what he mean down there, he ain't finna come in you and make things right for you. He ain't finna come and give you the best job, the best ability, the best you can be as far as you accomplishing everything on the earth. No, it's over. It is finished. You rolled on the flesh for thousands of years. Now it's time for the will to be brought to the end. So you can clown all day and night. This is your time right here. The same day that he's given the angel that come to deceive the whole world. You fail to realize where he come from, didn't you? You fail to realize where he come from. To come to deceive the whole world. He came from somewhere, right? Many of you come from that same destiny. And because you don't understand Genesis 3 and 15, the seed represents spirit, you guys. The woman seed is a spiritual seed. And the serpent seed is the evil seed. He's letting you know, I'm bringing them all down. And they're going to go in the destiny in which they was ordained in the heaven. That's why I said, when you down here, you're just clowning. If you're not representing the creator in the spirit realm, because what happens in the spirit realm, you guys, it keeps people from coming after you in any shape, form, and fashion with their traditions, with their order. They can't come with you in this Bible and tell you, it tells you to submit. The Father said to me, he said, Deborah, why would I, in the spirit, cause the flesh of a woman to submit to a flesh of a man, and I have nothing in common with neither one of them? I don't come to make sure man get a woman and a woman be submitted to a man, or a woman created for a man. I come to let people understand I create everything for my purpose. How did it become your purpose? The purpose of a woman is to be submissive under her husband. Whose purpose is that? The flesh of man. Because it's not a spiritual purpose. Polygamy is not a spiritual purpose. It is the flesh of man. That's why I try to explain to you. They run to the Bible and use it to debate because it's a lot of wicked and evil that has been placed there just so they can get away with their adultery, their abomination, their lust, and all this Satanism that they're doing, all because he said it there. But then he turned around and he said, now you go right into Genesis 3 and 15, Deborah. He said, you see them two seeds? You see intimacy? Intimacy is hate, Deborah. I'm putting hate for the woman seed toward the man seed. Now, he's not talking about a female. He's talking about a spiritual seed. See, and so he said he's putting the two between. So the woman seed, which is the spiritual seed, is going to hate the wicked seed. And the wicked seed is going to hate the spiritual seed. Now, don't that make sense? Don't that make sense? It's the same form as the spirit of Yah versus the Bible. The Bible is for the flesh and the spirit is for the spirit. He that is born, not that he that is born again, but he that is born. That means when you pull up in Genesis 3 and 15, those are the seeds that's going to be born. You're going to either be evil or you're going to be a spiritual seed of Yah. When you pull up in here, you in there all the way to the end. Why are you saying that, Deborah? Because the end shows that heaven's already got it locked in and locked out. You either in the Lamb book of life, or you are in the books to death, eternal life. I know a lot of people tell, well, ain't no such thing as hell, ain't no such thing as a fire. That's the way people teaches people that they're going to get away with what they're getting away with. And that's what make people continue to do the level of even wicked, because they thinking There's no other side. Going back to what I was telling you, they're teaching people only what the book is saying. The book is the words. But when spirit pull up, it's pulling up with the word. You see? It's no way the word's going to override the word. It's no way the spirit is going to be override by the Bible. No way. The Bible is not the spirit, you guys. And the spirit is not the Bible. The Bible is not the word. The Bible is words. You get it? Going back to the spirit. You all have walked in such a dark time for so long till he say, Deborah, bam, it's over. Finally, it's over. Y'all didn't walk this thing up and down and have not seen any light to go walking therein because the gate is that narrow. And I love what is said, because when I see that it says, and very few shall find it, that's where I'm at today. I've been on here 5 years and haven't found one that found the light. Haven't found one that can go into the narrow gate. Because what they're trying to do is pay the way through a book. Or if I follow this, if I do this, if I do that, I'm in there. That can't be true. Because this is not the word. The word is spirit. The words are for the flesh. That's why he said rightly dividing the word of truth. The word got to be divided from what you read it. Can it be divided by a pastor, a leader, a bishop, a Maureen, a seer, a priest, a prophetess, a prophet, or a apostle? No. It got to be divided by he that have divided the Lamb book of life from the book of the dead, the lake of hell. Only he, which is spirit, can divide and have divided. It's been divided with him. So his rest was his rest after he spoke everything into existence and his power brought it forth. It was finished the way he wanted it on the earth. That's why you can't take his spiritual rest for your fleshly body. You see, that's why I say they don't get it. They don't get the idea that the spirit has nothing in common with this book. Nothing. But when it pull up, it's coming to teach you all things that is righteous. It didn't say it coming to teach you the Bible, Torah, Hebrew. I'm coming to teach you what the Catholics show, what the Catholics teach you, or the Christian. No, that's why people battle with different denominations and religions, because they're not in there. I remember years ago, he told me, he said, Deborah, none of them have it. And I was like, say what? He said, none of all these denominations and these religions, not one of them have it. I like that. I like that. And he told me that probably 18 years ago. Guess what he was saying? He was taking me back into the spiritual realm. None of them have it. None of them have spirit and truth. They have a form of what you call godliness. That's an example that's in here. A form of godliness. But they deny the power therein. What do you think the power is? The power is what made everything visible to you today. That was his right hand power. And they never knew it was his right hand. They never knew it was his power. Because they so busy giving all the glory and the honor to the loudmouth flesh of men. That's why the Catholic has been so in power. The Pope, men. Where you see the world, it had nothing to do with a woman in the garden. It had to do with the first man he created that never owned up to what? Sin. The first creation was man that was formed. He said, Deborah, right there is the issue. Just like he told me in Genesis 6 when he ended the world. Go back to Genesis 6, look at verse 1. That first verse lets you know why he ended the world. But what man do, they get all these books telling you Enoch and all these books said this. No, 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 no. Spirit is greater than the books in which you read. And it's just, to me, I say, Father, look like they bring you down to the lower of the low. He say, I'm glad you can see that. Because I've been seeing that way before heaven and earth was created. Because I was trying to figure out, well, wait a minute. I said, now, wait a minute. Why is you saying that? Right here. You hear something. Watch this here. You hear in Ezekiel 36. In Ezekiel 36, listen to this. I want y'all to listen to this. Ezekiel 36 and verse 21. This is where I explain to you all when the Spirit has something to say, by you being in the Spirit, with the Spirit of the Ruach. It will teach you what the Spirit is saying. So you can rightly divide this book. That's why I can divide this book and identify who did the smearing. And how all these men that's teaching out of this book, trying to hammer this book into your mindset that it is the truth. Don't forget, you had this book 400 and some odd years. This book been here telling you what man said. What about what the Spirit is saying? Okay. Now, in Ezekiel 36 and verse 21, but I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel profaned among the heathens, where they went. You all have, melanated people have profaned. In the house of Israel, they have profaned he that is spirit, his name. So what? He said, when Deborah, I had, look, what did it say? Ezekiel 36 and 21. Ezekiel 36 and verse 21. But I had pity on my holy name. Who can call the Father's name holy outside of him? This is where I explain to you how the Spirit can go in to this book and come out at the same time. So you won't think that this book is his word. That's how he do that. That's why when Jacob was telling his sons to gather themselves together so he can tell them, then all of a sudden the next verse in Genesis 49 and verse 2, when you hear something say, gather yourself together, you house, you sons of Jacob, and hear what your father Israel had, the father Israel had to say. He was telling them in the spirit realm, pour your butt up over here. See, y'all don't know how he come in and he pull out. He ain't coming in here to play with you. He ain't coming in here to make this Bible his word. He just wanted to use it as a study guide to you to let you know my finger can be up, it can be down, it can be all around. It can be in this book and it can be out of it. But are you in me? Are you in the realm of the Spirit of the Creator? Or are you in your flesh, understanding a flesh book that has been smeared up and down? And I suggest nobody to escape this Bible. Because when the Ruach of that Spirit Creator comes, he's coming and he's going to show you how he divides the word from the word of truth. He knows what he's saying and what you can tell what he put in there versus what man. He is not going to tell you he create woman for man and not man for woman. That's not the way the Father orchestrates himself. He does not cause, let me show you another example. You remember Jacob and he had the 4 women and they were, everything that they were doing was battling, was jealousy, envy, hateful, trying to have these children. All of this was witchcraft, you guys. All of this was wicked. But does the Father still get something out of it? He gonna always get something out of it because he's the beginning and the end. He's the up and the down and anything around. So therefore, anything, whether it's evil, whether it's wicked, he gonna still get some glory out of it just to show you that he is who he said he is. He don't have to justify himself in no book. He don't have to identify himself in no book. All he wants to do is to come in those who he have already orchestrated from heaven and lead and guide us in this midnight world. That's that seed that he put in the soil. The other seed died off. Why? Because they was assigned in the heavens already for the books of death. That's why they died off as seeds. He told Satan in Genesis, I'm going to give you yours and I'm going to have mine. How about that? Who going to give Satan seeds? The Most High Creator. Why? Because he know who's who and what's what. He already had the Lamb book of life. Yeshua came on the mountaintop, which is in the mind. Satan attempt. And he told him, hold up, bro. I fast for this flesh. See, y'all didn't get it. Yeshua wasn't fasting in the spirit. He didn't have the power. Christ wasn't with him on that mountain when the Satan was tempting him. But what he was doing is standing on that mountain for Sister Deborah to know. Deborah, you don't live on every word that you don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of your Yah. This here is bread for the flesh. It is not bread for the spirit. That's why the flesh is anorexia, not the flesh. That's why the people who we all got a spirit was blown in us with life. That is anorexia. So when you stand before the Most High Yah, he gonna see you anorexia, and he already gonna know where you're going. He gonna know where you're going before he see you in the how. Because heaven already got you wrote in and wrote out. That's what Yeshua was saying on the mountaintop to Satan. For it is already written. That's what we should be saying. That's what we should be teaching. We should be teaching people, wait a minute, y'all. It's already written. What do you mean, Deborah? That's giving the power back to where it come from. Glory. The Most High, the creator of all things. You turn it right back to him when you say, it is written. So if you want to say something to me and try to train me to live by your traditions, how am I going to go back to your Torah when Torah never came to my Father, the creator? Torah never did come to the king, to the Father in heaven. So how am I going back to get into Torah when Torah ain't never came to the knowledge of he that is spirit, that has all power? So I'm going to go back to the book, huh? I'm going to go back and live the way David, Abraham, Isaac lived. No. Because you didn't know they was built up on two. They was built up on the spirit and they was built up on the flesh. What's the deal, Deborah? They was built up on the flesh and they was built up on the spirit. But only one thing live eternal, and that is their spirit. Why? Because they came down to represent a spiritual creator. See? They came down here as the seed. See, y'all sitting around here thinking y'all are the seed. Y'all are all this. How you going to become all of this when heaven got you locked in and locked out? You need to be finding out who you are. Matter of fact, the Father said, Deborah, it's finished. They don't need to be finding out nothing because their life speaks for itself. Really, who they represent. They still lost without a cause. Because they still letting people tell him everything out of here. This is the way you're going to live, the way the people got away in here. It was off the chain a couple of months ago when this one guy broke down all these scriptures in here in the Old Testament, telling you about how the men back in the days of Israel was raping other city daughters and taking their daughters for themselves, Benjamin and all. And I said, see that, Father? I just thank you for being present with me from the beginning. Because I will be a lonely bird if I listen to the mouth of these loudmouth, nasty, lustful, adulterous, fornication, built up men that has caused the silly women to follow them. I will be a lost case, a lost cause in a sense, because it's not, nothing is following the spirit creator. Everything is following the flesh ways. So this Bible and all the lost books and the found one is really leading you to teaching your flesh. But when you get the spiritual one in you, and he sits and he abides in your flesh, in your spirit, then therefore he gonna pull up. He gonna tell you what is truth and what not. And that's why Sister Deborah can say 99.9 have not received that. It's because they can't get away from the fact that there's a spirit that overrides any book or any Bible. They can't give that spirit that power. They can't give that spirit that glory. They can't give that spirit of the creator that the honor. They can't give that spirit of the creator that worship, because they want to follow an idol God through the books. That's why the books is allowing men to do everything they doing. And they can't see Deuteronomy 28 end game. They can't see Isaiah 3 and verse 8 and 9. They can't see Isaiah 3 verse 20. They can't see nothing. They can only see the desire of their flesh will. That's what the Bible allowed them to do. So when you think that you are being smart by using the Bible and making it to be the way you say it is, or I can battle everything. I can battle polygamy. I can battle women can't do this and women can't do this. I can battle this. I can battle this. Father said, you ain't battling nothing that I ain't letting you battle, because you are of your flesh, and your flesh is written in the book of the lake of fire. So you battling yourself, just like I said at the beginning, chasing your own tail around. After a while, you're going to get dizzy. That means you're going all your life, you're going to be chasing your own tail around. You're chasing your tail around. And in the center of you chasing your tail around is somebody who's feeding you, keeping you chasing your tail around. You'll never understand the spirit creator of the Most High Yah. It's because you chase your tail around all your life. And if you didn't chase your tail, you chase some man's tail. So it don't make no difference. You still chasing the tail around. Okay, now, I will only give these here that he has given me. He said, Deborah, they don't understand that the breath of life is separate from the flesh of Adam. Deborah, they don't understand that the breath of life is spirit. The flesh of man is flesh. It believes in what they read and believe, what they see and believe. So there's a difference right there. The breath of life is spirit. And the flesh of Adam, what do you mean of Adam? The flesh of Adam only understand his wisdom, his knowledge, his understanding, his emotions, his feelings, and his personal opinion. It's separate from the breath of life that sits and waits for the spiritual creator. There's a big difference. And that's why as soon as Abraham got the chance and he was set where he was set, he had already chose direction. It didn't take her. The father said all that is what they put in there. And they have done an excellent job deceiving, especially women, to believe that Eve was the one this and that. He said a lot of that. Because I knew it. I told you as a little girl, I'm like saying, well, then Eve said touch to the serpent. But Adam, I didn't hear Yah said it to Adam. Right there, he said, see, you already see the lie. I learned that a long time ago, but I'm just showing you how the lie was already. And he said, when you saw and you heard him saying that I put Adam into the garden and he shot straight into what he already was going into. So that's why when I saw him going in that direction, I said, oh, it is not good that man shall be alone, that I'm going to make him a helpmeet. Why? So we can blame what he done wrong on her. Why? Because why would he say, this is what I said. Now, this is the difference from me and you all. This is the difference between me and you. When I hear this, and he put Adam in the garden to dress it, And then he said, it is not good that man shall be alone. My first thing come to me in the spirit, my spirit. Wait a minute. Why? What's the problem here? That's just how I am. Father, wait a minute. Hold on. What's the problem? What do you mean it is not good? Ain't nobody put him in there but you. And you was the only one put him in there alone. So what you talking about, it is not good. After everything you created was good, now all of a sudden you placed him where you wanted him to be, and now it's not good? What is going on? Because something took place before woman was added in. All this myth, all this deception. If an angel were brought down to deceive the whole world, could he have deceived the whole world if y'all hadn't orchestrated that the world be deceived? No, he couldn't. Woo-wee! Taking the power back where it belonged, in the spirit of a creator. See, the Father never wanted us to just assume that he's the law of the low and we put evil the highest. He knew that we would do that. That's why he had on the left books with an S to the lake of fire. And on this end, he has the book of life. That's why he made sure we understand those books. He made us understand the true gates. One is narrow and one is broad. He made sure in the beginning we understand Genesis 3 and 15, the serpent seed and the spiritual seed that's going to come down. He made sure we understand that in the garden, who put both trees there? The spiritual creator. We missed all that. And we set everything up the way man told us it is, and not the way the spirit has orchestrated it from heaven. So those that comes down to represent as a servant of the Most High Yah, they come down with the boldness as I speak it, to tell spirit and truth. The good thing is about it that I like is how people would come in and they would go out. Why? Because the moment that snake slither in, he see that woman seed, whoop, he take his tail right back out. Why? Because he's born of the flesh. He's to follow the ways that he's been taught in the flesh. When you come to this page, strictly spirit and truth. It's the way of the spirit. And that's what this message is about. It's trying to let you all understand the Bible cannot override the spirit of the creator. Never could it, never will it. But the way that they're teaching in this day, in the days of yesterday, it has been successfully done. I salute it in the name of he that is the creator of all things. I salute it. Why am I saluting? Because it still has nailed the will of he that created all things. It's still going his way. You can't see his way. You just can't come up and see the creator's way. You just can't pull up out of this book and see the Father's way. Because the reason why you can't is because you made this book that was intended for your flesh, to rule your flesh, to where when spirit and truth come, you can't hear it. You got to slither on out, just like you slither on in. You got to slither on out. And that's the mindset. It's too heavy. It is too heavy. Denominations, I've told you all over and over and over. Religions, Christians, Catholics, Jehovah's Witness, Hebrew Israelite, no matter what you are, you're a long ways from what you call home. Because your mindset is finished with Yah. Everything everybody go after, it is of the flesh. Look at all these melanated men. All this is being revealed about the melanated men. And they doing worse and worse and worse. But they got somebody to blame. They want to blame the white, the Europeans, and so on. But they never looking at themselves and realizing, wait a minute, am I the serpent seed or am I the spiritual seed? You already should know. Especially when you support wicked and evil at its finest in the name of hate, jealousy, envy, and I'm a man. You are not who you think you are in the kingdom, nor will you. I will say that I wanted to come back and explain to you all what he told me late last night and this morning. The point of it's over. It's going to be in a state of, it's going to be in a state where things are going to continue to happen. And then you all are going to seek some help and some desire to like, you know how they saying how the war over there is going to get so bad, and then it's going to be the false prophet, whoever is going to come, they're going to make peace. While y'all waiting for that prophecy, guess what? Things in your own life is going to get bad. Things that's going to be in your neighborhood, your community, your state, your city, all over the world is going to be bad, and you're going to bypass it. It ain't me, but it is you, baby, because you're going to be left right here. Because that same spiritual versus the Bible, he ain't coming for that Bible. And he ain't coming for those who follow therein. He's coming for those who have his spirit in them, as Christ came for the lost. How was they lost? Because they were already sealed, but they got lost on the way. That's what he came for. And that's what even this Hebrew Israelite movement, they have trained the multitude of their people to believe a lie and never come to the knowledge of the spiritual creative side. They chose the idol god man, and they put him on a pedestal and said he's a king, he's a leader, he's a ruler. But they never gave it a thought. Why is y'all going to manifest everything for your flesh and leave nothing for your spirit, in which he said he only deals with? But yet he's going to give you land, crops, everything you want. Women, marriages, virgins. He's going to give you everything for your flesh. But nothing that you have can worship and praise him, nor represent him. Why would he do that? Why would he cause a woman to submit to a man? That's flesh submitting to flesh. Where's the spirit in this thing? You see? He said he didn't create that. You all created it. And you tried to make him be the lie so you can live the lie. And it has successfully been done. Satan didn't come here to deceive the whole world as if he had the power to. He came to deceive the whole world according to the spirit who has created all things. Okay, so here we go again. He says, when he made the world, it made them. Man turned it into him. And this is what you see in the world today, him. And if you can't look at the news, CNN, you can't look at all the stuff on YouTube, you can't look at all the stuff in the world and not see him, then you too are of the world. You are the flesh seed, because you can't see what is before you beyond the flesh, the error of the flesh. You can't see it. You praise, you magnify, you glorify, you want to be on YouTube speaking of it, all the stuff of the world, but you can't give the people nothing that gives the glory to he that is the creator in the spirit. You are, whether you know it or you like it or you understand it, it doesn't matter. It's over, it's finished. Keep representing who you are, because that's all that's going to matter to you while you live. Okay? While you live. Something coming after a while. Okay, so when he says them, he said when man made it him, that's what you see in the world. That same man that couldn't even own up for disobeying the first commandment and law, which is the first instructions and direction with consequences. He couldn't even uphold it. So this is what you see in the world today. It had nothing to do with woman. It had everything to do with man. And that's why everything you see from the CDC, from everywhere, all over the world, not just the United States, is built up on what man has done. I know it's too much for you to handle, because you're so caught in stupid in the way of the flesh, in the way of the world, in the way you think the Bible is telling you all this and this. They set it up from the floor so you can be in a heavy delusion of what is spirit and what is truth. That's why I couldn't understand. Why ain't they teaching spirit and truth, Father? He said, Deborah, how you expect them to teach spirit and truth when my spirit, which is all truth, is not in them? What truth can they teach? I said, is that why they sitting here all these platforms lying? That's why they covering everything in the world. They quick to try to get likes and subscribers based on all the events in the world, but they ain't covering who you are, what you stand for, who you was, who you are, and who you gonna be. They ain't got nothing got to say to him. Okay. And then he went on to telling me about Adam and Eve. He said Adam and Eve also had a spirit, and they were or flesh. You have to understand when going back to Genesis. He said, when he said, let make them, when it became him, what did it become? Did it become flesh or spirit? The Father says when he created them, what did the world turn it into? Wow. Wee. He said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And the Most High Creator created he, him and her, them. So he said, when he created it that way, how did the world turn it? How did the world turn that creation that he created? They created it about him. And this is what him. So what was it turned the spiritual way, or was it turned the flesh way? That's what the Father said. Do you understand when it became him? Was that the flesh way, or was that the spirit? It was the flesh, because that's not the way that the spirit of the Creator created it. He created it for them, him and her, and the world, bam, created it for him. So he says, is that the spiritual way I created it, or is it the flesh way? It was the flesh way, him. So this is what you see. Okay. Another one he gave me was Adam and Eve. Were they created for the spiritual seed or for the flesh seed? Were Adam and Eve, or Adam or Eve, or Adam and Eve, were they created for the spiritual or for the flesh? Adam and Eve was created for the flesh. That's why they took on the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They didn't hesitate. They went straight toward what they represented as the seed from the heaven. So they were flesh. When you get into the garden, he said, when you go into the garden, Deborah, the Garden of Eden, in the Garden of Eden, you have the tree of life and the tree of good and evil. Which is which? The tree of life was for spirit, and the tree of good and evil was for flesh. Wow. He's turning everything into the form of getting you to see how the flesh of man turned everything, had went in all direction of the flesh. They came up out of the spirit into the flesh. So when Sister Deborah hooping and hollering, get in your lane. Get over there in your lane. You know this is all flesh. Go back to your lane. It's spirit. Go to your lane. It's spirit. All this is flesh. You know that. That's why he chastised me in that way. And I love it. I love it. I love it. So right then he said, the tree of life, or the tree of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil, what was it representing? The tree of life was the spirit. The tree of knowledge of good and evil was for the flesh. So now we have everything that been turned into the flesh from the beginning of creation. See, y'all thought the wrong way. They taught y'all the wrong way. Now, if you just listen to what I'm saying, the first time I told y'all, when he created the world, created he and her to have dominion. He created he and her to have. What happened? What did the world switch? He switched it out of them, which is he and her, and he switched it to him. The world builds everything on the men. That's out of the order of the spiritual orchestration of his way. They switched it to him. That's why James Brown was saying this is a man's world. He knew that man created everything you see, everything, even the hell, the wicked and evil, the demonic, everything you see. If he had to end the world today, he would open up and show you who caused the world to be in the way and the level of demonic, wicked, and evil, lust, fornication, the adultery. Who created that? Who's really on that side? It'll blow your mind to see. Males. So when you get to he gets to Adam and Eve, there they go again. They were created, but they went to what? The flesh, because they were the seed of the flesh. Okay? That's why they created, the world created everything in him, because they took it out of them, her and him. So that's the spiritual order. They took it out of him and her, them, to just him. That's why woman got under his feet. And that's why you still got your stupid tails under there. That's not the order of the spirit creator. That's flesh man. And Adam and Eve, were they spirit or were they flesh? They were flesh. They came down here to represent the serpent seed. Okay. Now he said in the Garden of Eden was there two trees. One was for life, which is spirit, and the tree of knowledge and good and evils was for the flesh. Now, what he's saying to me now, as I speak to you, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Notice you hear the word knowledge of good and evil. Why was good with evil? Why was evil with good? Why were they holding hand on the same tree? Because you all mistake good for evil and evil for good. That's how people live today. So it's showing you that one is for your flesh and one is for your spirit. The both trees, tree of life, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Notice the knowledge represent the knowledge of learning, in a sense, knowing. What you know today is still of the flesh. That's what Sister Deborah is trying to explain to y'all. It still is for the flesh. It's like this here. This is the words, which is for the flesh. And the word is the spirit of God that comes to teach you all things. That's why you can't let this Bible override you. Not if you are born of the spirit. Born is not what you say. It's what is in you. So Sister Deborah can't sit up here and hoop and holler because of what she say. It's what's already embedded in me. I'm born of the spirit, and nobody can do nothing about it. Live or die. I'm already written. Okay? Now, then he told me, why is y'all greatest for man's flesh? What is y'all's great for man's flesh? To bring the seed into the spirit. Oh, he said, now, if he tells Satan that you're going to have your seeds, I'm going to have mine. Why is he putting seeds down here to be submissive to each other? Why should one seed be submissive to another seed? That is not my doing, Deborah. I try to explain in many ways. I've sent my servants and they killed him. Everything that came out right, they made it wrong. They'd rather live wrong than right. The Father is not going to create woman for man and man for woman, nor woman for man and man for woman. Everything he create for his what? Will, his purpose. He tells you that all the time as it is written into the book of words. So say if we take what that says, why would the creator who created everything created seeds? Okay. He created the seed of the woman and the man got a seed. When they come together, they could be the seed of the flesh. So men and women out there, let me correct some things I just said. If you are born of the flesh, it's okay for you to be the seed of the flesh. Women, if you are born of the flesh, it's okay for you to be the seed of the flesh. Y'all go hand in hand. And honestly, y'all are yoked together as the seed of the flesh. That's why the women will submit to the man. It's because you're submitting to his flesh. And he's trying to get order and control over your flesh. The Father said, where do his spirit of his creation come in there? It don't. Because he left Satan his seed, and he left his seed. He left Satan to have the seeds of wicked and evil, and he left his seeds for his, which is life. Y'all ain't looking for a woman to be submissive to the man, and a man to be ruling over a woman. All he wants you to be is what I created you to be, and to follow me in the midst thereof. Seek me, because I can be found in thee. If you had any trust in me, you'll know where I'm at and where I can be found. But because you don't have trust in me, you trust the book of words and not he that is the word. So you go in the area of where it best suits you, best fit you, make you comfortable. That is of your flesh. So he has not created the seed of a woman to be submissive to a seed of a man unless they are the same seed, like Adam and Eve. Bam! There you go. That's what make you understand when he say, don't be unequally yoked. He knows that he ain't bringing a seed of Satan with the seed of the woman together. He knows that. Before he allowed that, he would take one or the other out. Equally yoked is when both of you are seeds of the spirit. That's equally yoked. So all these marriages is vain and vax to the Most High Yah. Y'all trying to make it about Yah. Yah is a spirit. What do he give a rest behind about you and your flesh? If you and your spirit ain't on one with him. That's unequally yoked. In case y'all didn't know that. Unequally yoked don't mean the vows of the flesh of man. He said, let no man put you under, letting you know the spirit can divide anything up. That's why he said, let no man put you under, because the spirit can divide anything up. And if I put the seed of the spirit and the seed of the spirit together, that's yoked together. Anything outside of that is unequally yoked. So you're not bound to it. That's your mouth wanting to be bound to something that the Creator did not bound you to. That's why do you think these men are running around here being married to one woman and having these other women talking about these their wives? These are seeds, y'all. Everybody is seeds. How is y'all putting all these seeds for your pleasure into a spiritual realm? Let's go back to Jacob. Jacob had all those. Jacob never did ask for the first woman. He was blinded, drunk, and didn't even know he was going into that woman. So how are you calling that his wife? How is it his wife? Then you turn around, she gave her maid to you to have sex. How is that justified as something right? Then that's when the war began between sisters. First and foremost, Leviticus 18, I like how he pulled up and told him, pull that mess out. Nobody don't do that. But they want to make you really think that here are these two sisters, and these two sisters, watch this, y'all, watch this. It's all the part of Yah's will. See, they did not know. All things is the will of the Father. Whether it's good or whether it's evil. He the one put that tree in the garden. Didn't he? Who put that tree in the garden? Eden. Did not. It is said the Creator put them trees in the Garden of Eden. See? Just because things are set up from the floor up on this earth don't mean it's the righteous will or it's bound for the Lamb Book of Life, or it is the righteous will of the Father. Use a lie from the pit of hell, or else the sower when they sowed the seeds in all the wrong places. See, people really is so bent, caught up in this book. They have made this book their God, or they most high, or the kingdom, the creator. And they never understood that you had to wait for him, baby. He said, tarry a little while longer, and I'll come. But you didn't have that in you to tarry, because he knew if he wanted to come in you already, he knew what you was about. So here it is. He's saying the seeds are already separated from the heavens. Who's who and what's what. So when you get people marrying and they reading the vows out of here, that don't mean the rest hang. Only thing he come into unity in Yah is what he put together. When he bring it together and he put it together, that's when they come into unity in him. Look at Adam and Eve. He gave her to Adam as in one unity. But were they serving him? No. So you were supposed to, through the Spirit, be able to discern the difference. They was equal in their wicked and evil. But they were mission in that direction. But when you yoke in the Spirit, is when both of you all have seek Yah first and foremost, before you even seek each other, and put Yah first, then Yah bring you into an equally yoke with him in the Spirit. And that's why I tell y'all, the Spirit has no connection to this book, especially as much as man has smeared it up and down. But when that Holy Spirit comes, he's the only one can bring you to connection to this book, to teach you all things. And he will ride you up in this book. He will take you in, he will bring you out. But one thing I can tell you, he is not going to do. That Spirit of the Creator is not going to take you into this book. The Spirit of the Creator is not going to take you into this book and leave you. No. When I'm in the midnight hour, wake up at 4 a.m, I hear the Spirit speaking to me, not this book. Come 6 o'clock, the Spirit is back again. I hear the Spirit, not this book. When I get into the water, wash my face, get into the tub, I hear the Spirit, not this book. 4 years old to 63 now, I heard the Spirit, not this book. So I can tell you, I've tarried for the Spirit. Spirit already had me since I was a little girl. I don't want nothing outside of that, teaching me, showing me, revealing nothing to me outside of what I used to. So I can say that to you all. You can't say that to yourself, but I can say that to you. To just separate myself from what I'm trying to get you all to see. That either you are the born of the flesh or you are of the Spirit. The Spirit represents the Creator. The flesh represents trying to take a book that was given to the flesh and they're trying to live by. They don't care that the Roman Catholics smeared it. They don't care that this book was created by the hands of man. They don't care. They just want to live, fake it until they make it. Because they think it's bad and faking it. Oh, we're going to make it. We're going to for sure make it. If we eat this, look this, walk this, talk this, feast this, when it all said and done, you role playing. It's what you call clowning. And the search is going to be open. I wanted to tell you all year round. The year 2024 and 2025, the circus is going to be open every day. So make sure you get your couple of tickets. Okay? So the Bible has been prepared to be set up for the mind of man. Okay? And what he meaning is the flesh. I, Sister Deborah, would never tell anyone to turn away from the Bible. Why? I would tell you to turn away from all them other books. I would tell you with no doubt about it. That's what Solomon was saying. Many books is many words. It's a problem because what man in the flesh have not realized is that in the Garden of Eden, he put two trees along with other trees. He put two trees. But these two trees led you in two directions. One to the to life, and the other one is to death. There go two trees. When Sister Deborah come to pull up and pull out, there's two words. One that leads you to the life, eternal life, and one that will lead you to death. If you're going by it without the Holy Spirit to teach and what? Rightly divide. Why do this book need to be rightly divided? Because he's trying to let you know that this book is made by man. But if you want to learn of who I am, the Father, which is a spirit, I will teach you all things. I will show you things that I allowed my fingerprint to be in. And then one might say, well, why would he put his fingerprint in it? The same reason he put two trees in the garden. How about that? How you like them now? How about that? Satan didn't put them trees in there. When if he put the two trees in there, how is it Satan hooking on one tree? Uh-huh. Who put Satan in the tree? Who put Satan in the tree in the garden next to the tree of life? Who did that? I did that. See, it shows the ignorance in which many people have fallen under. It shows you that you never knew nothing. It's just a game that's being played here on the earth. And the reason why I'm speaking in so much boldness is to try to get you to understand that this thing is not going to walk your way. So in the days to come, the months, the weeks, the year, let me tell y'all something. You're about to see the difference between the words and the word. Because the word is going to come with power. But these books here, this book is going to come with a lot of confusion. Unless the only way you can balance this book is with the word. Because the word going to straighten this word out. But you got to understand it's not coming to straighten it out in the realm of the flesh, meaning the understanding, the knowledge, and the understanding and the wisdom of the flesh of man. It's going to come straighten it out in the spirit of righteous. So you can understand it. So that's why Sister Deborah can talk from this book. Because he's in me and he's greater. He already didn't let me know this. Deborah, look, why would I do this? Why would I do this? Why would I do this? Do they understand? When they sit and say, well, this Bible, but then wasn't there two trees in the garden too? Didn't it tell them there was two trees in the garden? Do they get that? All the parables, everything leads you to understand. Everything's been created into twos. You're going to be of the light or you're going to be of the darkness. You're going to be the spirit of spirit or you're going to be of the flesh. You're going to be in the Lamb book of life or you're going to be in the lake of fire. You're going to be in the narrow gate or you're going to be in the... You're going to be the serpent seed or you're going to be the one. Everything is created into twos. And because Yah wants to plan, you're going to follow his 3, 4, and 5s. Because he's going to whoop you with this in the way of the flesh. Because he's trying to tame your flesh. He don't want you to really... And I said, Father, why don't they speak spirit and truth? How many years I've been telling y'all that? Why aren't they speaking spirit? Because spirit and truth will crack this book wide open. It'll tell you, you worried about your hair. You worried about your makeup. You worried about your size. You worried about young and old. You worried about virgins and elderly. You worried about all this stuff, food. You worried about the things that ain't going to uphold you at all. And all those things in which we have gotten caught up in based on religion, denomination, the flesh of understanding, the loudmouth men, their denomination, their belief, their way of understanding Torah. How can one book have a million different a million different understandings out of one book? How is it everybody got a different understanding? Come on now. Let's say, for instance, if I said that I'm Catholic. No, not Catholic. Ooh, if I said that I am a Jehovah's Witness, and there's another Jehovah's Witness here, do you know me and her can sit down and we'll still be divided in understanding? Me and her will still sit down and be divided in our understanding. Well, wait. For a book supposed to be your life and to guide you, that's another one. There go another light. Come on. If this book was created to guide you and lead you and show you the way to the light and to what is righteous, well, why does it divide people up more than it unite them? Ain't they reading one book? Ain't they getting, wait a minute, ain't we coming from one? Because you all didn't know, and you still don't know, that this book is a multitude of words. But until the word, which is the creator, come, you don't know a rat's behind about what these words are saying. So you have to hear what? The loud mouth of men and women try to get on this devil platform to get subscribers and likes and praise from you so that they can continue to feel that they are the light. And they sits in darkness teaching you. You as blind as you were when you first got on here, but yet you call yourself seeing. Oh, I can see, I can understand. I can see, I got a light. I'm spirit and truth. But wait a minute, hold up. What are you? When you tell no one nothing. The Father is calling the bold ones to step out. And that's what I be looking for. And I'm having a problem with seeing it. Because the bold one's going to also have the keys to the kingdom. They're going to have the light. They're going to have spirit and truth. One other thing they're not going to be doing is laughing and playing. And they're not going to be covering the world. You all don't understand. There's people been on this devil platform covering the world and portraying they represent Yah. But why did you cover more about the world than you cover about spirit and truth? It's because it shows you they are of the flesh and not of the spirit. So the Bible is there to deceive your flesh. That's why the devil's right hand was turned over to the devil gave the Roman Catholic his right hand to turn with little power to deceive you from this book. And the Father said, that's okay, let them deceive you from the book. They can deceive you from the book, but I tell you what, let me come live in you. How about that? How about that? Let me come live in you. And once I come in you, everything they say is going to have to drop their pants. Because now I come in to teach you all things. So therefore, what is this book saying? See, you have to learn to put the spirit of the creator on high at all times. Put this book and everything else in the flesh down below. Because when he is lifted up, that's when the power is at hand. So I, Sister Deborah, hope that you got something out of it. And I will say that, I missed something that I had to take care of, but that's okay. I thank the Father for the message because this is something he put on my heart this morning. And I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, I hope you got something out. And if you didn't, you can hear it again. And I say unto you, if you don't serve the spirit of the creator, you are born of the flesh. And the Bible is meant for you. Shalom and shalom.